Hey Cancers, and welcome to your February 2018 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead. And so Cancers, very energized, very powerful soon. You might be feeling a little bit unacknowledged. That's definitely something coming off for Cancer because it's been a very strong experience of solitude and feeling a little bit bound and constrained by circumstance and by experience. I feel like a lack of trust coming in of the universe, like knowing why you're where you are, but at the same time not quite understanding why the lesson has to be like this. It's like, why is it like this? That's what I keep hearing with the Cancer. It's like, why this? So, learning who to trust and learning who to love is going to be very important in February. Also, understanding your new relationship with the past because it's already here, Cancers, and that's what some of you may not realize is like for those Cancers who are struggling with the past or struggling with coping from the past, the change has already happened. It's just not quite clicked into the conscious mind yet. So you kind of are working inharmoniously with your body. Like your body has already understood that the change with psychic relationship to the past has happened, but your conscious mind doesn't. So your conscious mind is still kind of acting like an old version of yourself, but your body is not. So that is sort of the answer, I think, to why some of your circumstances or experiences have become so strange. And so sort of unpredictable, but at the same time feeling not so changeable, even for those of you who have a lot of resources and options. This month, Cancer, so energized. You have the Fool and the Magician as major arcana, and you have Four and Eight of Swords, Ace of Cups, just a lot of stuff that deals with new beginnings, such young energy, which is why I'm sort of thinking that there has already been the lesson learned or the change of relationship with the past. Because ultimately, what starts here in February, Cancers, is a completely new cycle, a completely new experience of life that really makes the world your oyster, which is sort of a Cancer archetype in and of itself. So be ready for the world to be your oyster, Cancer, because you're going to be on an incredible adventure soon through basically what you culminate and calibrate here in February. I feel March to be for everyone, but especially for the water signs as we'll go into equinox time out of Pisces and into Aries. All the water signs, March is going to be really, really empowering, really strong, really new and exciting adventures will start to shape themselves and play out. Also, new soulmate energy that does potentially come in February, but also the realization of past soulmate energy too. It's Ace of Cups reversed that's in your reading. So I do sense crying and tears in February, but it can be healing. It's not necessarily from a. I don't sense like really strong traumatic scenarios happening. Interestingly enough, so perhaps the built up emotion and built up experiences of the past finally re-enter to be let go of and purged. So tears that never got to see the light of day finally may come out in February in an effort for your body to finally get over it all and to establish closure of your own. You feel ultimately though like someone has turned their back on you. To me, Three of Wands, I have a strange relationship with Three of Wands. Most people consider it like this very positive card, and it does have really incredible meanings as well. It's your central theme, and to me, it always represents someone with their back turned, or it represents feeling like you can't access someone, or feeling like you can't have loyalty. There's like a lack of loyalty that I always sense with Three of Wands, sort of a broken promise as well, especially when it's in the reverse. So definitely changing your relationship with fire energy is going to be important this month. You don't have any other fire energy in your spread except for in the center. So it's all coming back to the heart. It's all coming back to the solar plexus, all coming back to where you find your passion and your energy. So that you can again step into the place of the Fool and the Magician and really set out on an incredible path once you sort of face the dilemma of the first few weeks here. So I'll go ahead and get into the week to week for you guys to understand more clearly what's coming forward. In the first week, Cancers, you guys have Eight of Swords, you're done by Four of Swords. So the only Swords experience of your month is right in the beginning here. So there's a lot to face very suddenly, a lot of acceptance to find. And to me, this really does just make me think of the past because Eight of Swords usually, both of those cards deal with the past because four is a past number. I often associate Eight of Swords people with people who are stuck in the past because the past is exactly that. It's not real anymore. So for it to still have such a trapping effect over you, is in and of itself kind of not really possible. And that's the problem with Cancer sometimes, and I can say that because I have a lot of Cancer in my own chart. So sometimes we tend to really stretch things out and make them last longer and cause us difficult situations longer than they need to. So we need to understand how to not do that during the first week. We need to understand how to take off the blindfold, how to take off the constraints of the past, and really step into our power, and really step into the fire element and find motivation from it versus being trapped by it. And it does feel that we also have to sort of rest through that as well. Four of Swords deals with rejuvenation, healing. Some of us might be a little bit sick or ill during the first week, whether that be a sickness, physical sickness, or whether it be kind of an emotional sickness. We do just need a bit of convalescing, it feels like, in the first week, if we can have that, if that's a possibility. It's always important with Four of Swords that we take the heartbreak represented in the Three of Swords, that we study it, that we find the moral, and we basically give ourselves a completely new weapon to step into the path of the spiritual warrior again, and that we don't stay there too long. And that's the hard part about Four of Swords, is we can tend, especially as Cancers, to stay in that process of convalescence and retrospect for longer than we need to. It's a very potent energetic ability that we have as humans to do that. That keeps its potency by not stretching out too long. So I feel like the biggest red flag for February is just stretching things out to be too long. Things which happened 2 or 3 years ago or even longer, still sort of rearing their head and not really being relevant anymore. Watch out for irrelevant emotional crisis just because there's not any of that now. You'll definitely see, and not all Cancers are this way, but only some of us are kind of in that process of always needing crisis or always needing emotional stimulation. So how can we sort of work with that? I mean, that kind of is answered in the rest of our spread, but basically we have to find motivation and we have to find something which gives us purpose, because people tend to activate crisis in their life when purpose is lacking. It can basically, to be a bit more simple, boredom does lead to crisis sometimes. In this case, it feels like. In the second week, Cancers, you guys have Seven of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by Ace of Cups reversed. So again, more reflecting energy. Four of Swords and Seven of Cups are both such reflection cards. I'm sorry, Seven of Pentacles. Both such reflection cards that we are potentially still a bit heartbroken and not allowing new soulmate energy or new energy of love to come in by how much we continue to reactivate the love of the past. So for Cancers who are feeling lonely or feeling like you can't really find anybody, this usually deals with not being able to let go of something, because in order to allow completely new energy into our lives, we have to not be too bound or constrained by the old energy. So whatever affirmation you can do in the second week of February to think, okay, I no longer need this old energy, I no longer need this false tears or tears of the past. I am strong enough to now go on and have a new activation of the future. That's really powerful for you, Cancer. Not being constrained by the past and really wanting to step into power with the future. I really feel like those Cancers who can get into that high vibrational state will really kind of be ahead of all of humanity and really be very strong, very powerful. Because once Cancer does do that and finds that formula, they sort of outgrow the difficulty of their sign, which is the connection to the past and the regeneration of things which are no longer alive. So that finding that and finding that affirmation and that process of stepping into that power seems to be created and constructed in the second week, and then you actually sort of step into it in the third week, where you have that Three of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Fool. So Three of Cups reversed, people who used to be on your side, people who used to really have a strong sense of camaraderie with, may not be there anymore, or that may be a lot of what you're sad about, is missing easy familial times with very close people of the past. And it's so hard to let that go, because not just because it's the process of letting it go, but it's also the process of trusting again. It's the process of allowing your heart to feel these emotions once more, knowing that it doesn't always survive, knowing that it doesn't always turn out. And that's a lot of the time what's most difficult for Cancer. It's not that you guys just stay in the past for fun. It's not that you're weak. It's that you realize how much strength you have to sacrifice to create these bonds of love in the first place. And when it completely falls through the cracks, then what have you done with that energy? It's just gone, and how much you could have used that for other things. But you ultimately see through what I've just said in the third week, because you are starting on a new path with that. And you understand that ultimately, despite that energetic process, that the strength that you do use, or as you might say, sacrifice to create these things, is ultimately what generates the incredible potential for you to like use with career, for you to use in creating your family. Your creative energy, Cancer, does come from making others feel comfortable. Believe it or not, you're very maternal energy. Cancer rules the mother. So when you can be in that maternal place for other people, you generate, through making them comfortable, something greater for yourself than anyone else can really compare to. So that is starting to come through for you in the third week. Congratulations. New job opportunities to be a bit more mundane, new creative processes, new projects, new versions of making money, new locations, moving. That really does start to catalyze for you in the end of February and moving into March. So it really feels wonderful for you guys to be able to be devoting your attention and time to these types of endeavors, because your heart has wanted it for a long time. Something that your heart has wanted does start to come true, or at least starts to make a path for itself at the end of February. Moving into the fourth week, Cancers, you have the Magician rooted down by 8 of Pentacles. So, wow, that's beautiful, Cancers. Some of you are starting a new business, or some of you are starting a new project, really setting out, really not allowing these difficult turmoil type of experiences to rule you. Something clicks in about mid-February, where you finally know what you want, you finally know what you want to do, and you finally are enjoying the process of building it. I think that's been difficult for Cancers, is it's like it's been hard to enjoy the process of creation. Like, you're a very creative sign, but when you get so activated by the past like this, you can sometimes lose the joy in the actual creative process. So what do you want to do, Cancer? We've been talking about this for a while. Like, what does Cancer actually want? What does Cancer actually see themselves doing for the long run? Really start thinking about that in the fourth week, and really start to put some iron to the grindstone, or whatever the saying is. As I feel that with 8 of Pentacles, it's like some of you who are making clothes or manufacturing something, or creating goods to sell, will be very successful. And just allow yourself to be content-based in the fourth week, and it will be really, really incredible for us to all see what's going on. Also, just a strong psychic expansion that I've been seeing with the Magician lately. Watch out for lies. Watch out for being secretive. The Magician always comes with that, but it is upright, so I don't feel that that's overwhelmingly a part of your experience right now. But allow yourself to be magic in your creative process. Allow yourself to channel that solar plexus energy, and to access those magic wells that you have, that maybe you've been denying yourself of through this coping process you've been going through. And it does feel like, despite all of this, that 3 of Wands reverse is your central theme. It's like you might still be prone to let this person who's turned their back on you overshadow all of these incredible things which have come through. But that's your lesson, Cancer. That's your soul goal for February, is to understand how through your creative process you can no longer be overshadowed by this person who turned their back on you, or this experience of the past which is no longer being generated. So I hope that this reading really helped to answer some of your questions, Cancers, that you have about your experience right now in February. We are building up to March to be more incredible, so whatever you can do to structure here and now will really make you feel more benefic in the future. Anyway, if you all would like to book a private reading with me, you can do that in the center of your screen. You can also check out my winter seasonal series, which should be on the left, and as well as the playlist to see your sun, moon, and rising sign. You can also check out my Patreon page, where I do written horoscopes, free readings, and deliver these readings ad-free and early every month. That's in the description box. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. It's all down there. Much love, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Bye.